Did you know that when you pull equity out of your property in the form of a cash out refinance or a home equity line of credit, you don't pay any taxes on that money that's now available to you? Hi, I'm John St. Thomas, and I'm a mortgage loan officer with CMG Financial and a real estate investor based here in the Phoenix marketplace. Yes, you heard me the first time. When you access equity out of your property in the form of a home equity line of credit or a cash out refinance, those proceeds you receive are tax free. The reason for this is that money you are accessing is not what's considered earned income or capital gains because you did not sell the asset. It is borrowing against the asset. Now, let's be clear. Real estate is not the only asset that allows you to do this. You can also borrow against stocks and bonds, and that borrowed money against the stocks and bonds will also be tax-free. So let's think about the power of this when you own an investment property, or maybe 2, 3, 4, or 5 investment properties. You buy an investment property, over time that property appreciates, and all the while a tenant is paying your mortgage down. Then 10, 15, 20 years down the road, you want to access equity, you can absolutely do so. So essentially, somebody else paid your mortgage balance down and the market appreciated. Therefore, you gained a bunch of equity. And now you can access that equity tax-free to possibly double down on another investment property or maybe buy that luxury car you've always wanted. I wouldn't necessarily advise that, or some other opportunity. That is awesome. Think in 30 years from now, who knows what the tax rate is going to be, right? Who knows how expensive items are going to be? But you now have 2, 3, 4, 5 investment properties that are maybe nearly paid off, or the debt's been paid down tremendously, and you don't want to pay taxes on some money. You can always borrow against that property. And guess what? The tenant is still paying that mortgage off. And that money that you now have can be utilized for living expenses or anything you want. And you had to pay no taxes. This is a strategy I've seen multiple real estate investors utilize over the years. They start to buy properties. Over time, those properties gain equity through debt paydown and appreciation. They then access that equity through cash out refinances and home equity lines of credit, and they double down. They take that money to buy property 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then more time goes by, and they do it again and again. And before you know it, by the time you're 80 years old, you've got a portfolio of 50 homes worth $50 million that you get to pass down to your kids. And you were able to do so from accessing equity that was what? Once again, tax-free. So next time you hear somebody say, oh, you should rent and not buy, maybe think about the opportunity that you've lost if you did not buy that first home. You won't be able to access any equity and do so tax-free. As always, if you ever have any questions about this or you have a property that has a lot of equity in it and you're interested in accessing it, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you.